All right, welcome back to another episode of StichMethod on the road. This lesson should be quick, but should be highly effective. Today we're going to be talking about a missing element in a lot of improv that I hear from students, and I'm not making fun, it's just, we know our scales, we know our chords, but for some reason we can't make the music. And so today we're going to talk about direction. Now before we begin, if you enjoy this lesson, make sure you do share and subscribe to get further StichMethod on the road videos. And so direction in music is quite important. When you are playing guitar, you have to make a decision. Am I trying to show off or am I trying to connect with the audience? And if you're trying to connect with the audience, which you should, you want to be having some sort of conversation with them. And when you think about conversations and all the language and pronunciation and punctuation, that goes into the art of language, you want to bring that into your guitar playing. Well, what do I mean by that? When you're having a conversation, one sentence, you start with a sentence, and then the next sentence relates to the previous sentence, and so on. And so there's a familiar path, and you want to give your listener that. And even if you know your scales and you know your chords, but you feel like you're kind of like disjointed, this lesson should help. And it's going to be kind of funny, but it works. So how do we do this? Well, to keep it simple, we're going to be using a B minor pentatonic, and we're going to be thinking about direction. And the backing track I have is just a loop of a B7 chord. There it is, all right? And so the B7 chord will be looping, and we'll be using the B minor pentatonic on top of it. So let's first talk about just the B minor pentatonic. We'll be doing a form 1, 7-10, 7-9, 7-9, 7-9, 7-10, 7-10. Okay, so what do we do? Well, a lot of people who will improv, or are learning how to improv, will for lack of a better term, flop around the scale. And we don't want to flop around the scale. We want to be connected. And so it is direction that cures a lot of this. When I tell my students, when they ask me, what are you thinking about when you're soloing, what's going on? I tell them 100% of the time I'm thinking about the direction I want to go in. And so what I mean by that is, let's talk about direction. On guitar, when you want to go up the register, you go do, re, mi, fa, sol, higher, there's only two directions. There is towards the bridge and towards the floor. If I'm this pentatonic and I'm on a note here, to go up, I have to go this way. I can also go down. Very simple. And if I want to go down on guitar, down the register, I have two ways. I can either go towards the headstock or I can come up towards my face. Alright, so you want to conquer those two axes per direction. Again, if you want to climb higher, you're going to come towards the bridge, or you're going to go down towards the floor in your scale. If you want to go lower, you will go towards your headstock, or you will come up towards your face. All right, so easier said than done. It's okay, go practice that. But really, how do you practice that? This is where it gets funny. This is where you might roll your eyes, but this is where it gets very effective. You want to put your body into it. When I think about my favorite guitar players, they all have motion to their body. They all move as they play, and they're telling you their intent of direction. So what do I mean by that? Now, it's hard to see because I don't have a lot of room behind me, but you want to practice, and you have to really uphold yourself to doing this. I can't be there, okay? And so you want to, if I'm on a note and I want to learn how direction works, I want to feel my body. I want to push the guitar notes with my body by leaning forward. I want to put my movement, my momentum here in charge of what I do on the guitar neck. Don't lie to yourself. Don't try and play and then move your body to what you're doing. Nope. Let your rocking forward or moving forward push your hands up the scale, and let your pulling backwards move your hands towards, go lower towards your face. And so you want your body to be in charge, and as you move forward like this, your hands will do this, and as you come back, your hands will do this. You want to get the feeling of direction into your body. And so I'm going to put on this backing track, and I'm going to show you. Don't worry, we'll have some practice to talk about and some new ideas, all right? And so now I'm going to start with this little note here, the center of the scale, this root note. And now I'm not going to think with my fingers, I'm going to think with my body. I'm going to lean forward. Alright, I'm going to stay right there, kind of dance around. Lean forward more. And now I'm going to lean forward completely. Okay, now I'm going to move backwards. My body's telling my fingers where to go. backwards and forward. So I'm back, now watch. Push my body forward, and my fingers follow. That's the most important thing, is that your body moves and your fingers follow. Now we're going to do more, but the idea of getting used to attaching your body to the direction of your guitar is very important. The reason being is right now, your pentatonic scale has a series of notes, and as you push forward, your hands are going to get used to kind of sewing them together. The familiarity of keeping notes close together and not jumping around too much, and we'll talk about jumping soon, but going through the scale keeps the listener hearing notes that were familiar. You're kind of going do 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 do, and everything kind of makes sense. Now, sorry about that. So now I was just saying how, like, when you travel through the pentatonic and you kind of move with your body, the notes kind of sew themselves together and they kind of go through this path. But when you're soloing, you know, it's not about playing a note for every body movement or every sort of like directional intent. And what I want to talk about here now is how to practice stalling out on your goal. If you're here and you move forward and you want to go higher, well then you can, when you hit the note that you know makes you feel good, you can stop on that note and then dance around that note and consider yourself like on the plateau of where you wanted to be. So let me show you what I mean by that. I'm going to start down low now. Okay, I'm going to lean back. Like, I'm going to lean on the 7th fret. There we go. All right, so I'm back. Now watch as I lean forward. Now I like this note, and now I'm going to stay here and just dance around it. I've checked in on that note. Now I want to move forward. Backwards, forwards. And now I'm checked in here, and I can kind of... And I kind of stayed there and danced around a little bit. And now after I'm done, like after I feel like I got a lot out of that, now I can move. Now I'm going to come down. Alright, now, what I mean by this is you don't have to like... You don't have to do that, alright? So I'm going to get my right hand on here. And so you don't have to like... You know, as you move, it's like, you know, your fingers have to move. No, you can kind of... And then you can dance around. Then move. And so I hope this is making sense, but getting your body involved in your movement, in your storytelling on the guitar is going to help engage the listener. And that's what you're playing for. You want people to listen and go, okay, this sounds good. And so as you get your body involved in moving forward and backwards, you will be able to play with a little bit more confidence. Again, we can know our chords, we can know our scales, but if we can't put it together, it doesn't sound right. And this is just one quick piece of the puzzle to help you set the narrative. If you want to practice this stuff with me, on my Patreon page, I'm going to have about 3 exercises about how to do this, and you're going to practice with me. But let me show you what I mean, okay? We're going to do one quick practice session before we go, and I'm going to control you. I'm the puppet master. You are, I'm the puppeteer. And so I'm going to go like this. And what this means here is you're in the middle of the scale. And when I go this way, this means down. And when I go this way, it means up, okay? And so this is down, this is up. And so I'm going to put on that backing track, and you're going to load up your B minor pentatonic. And you're going to watch my hand. Again, down and up. All right, and so it's so funny. So I get to control you. Now, as I do that, you want to move your body, but you also want to follow my hand and see if you can use the direction to tell a narrative. Okay, here we go. So again, this is up, this is down. All right, and so I'll probably label on the screen. Here we go. Okay, so you're starting in the middle now. Start around that 9th fret of the D string. Kind of just play around that note. All right, and now we're going to go down. Okay, now we're probably on the 7th fret of the E string. Stay there. Dance around it. Now we're going to come up. Here we go. Should be around the middle of the scale. Let's go all the way forward. get to the top, kind of dance around that note. Stay there. See what you can do. Dance around wherever you are. Now let's bring it back to the middle. And back down. All right, so I don't know if that worked. Leave the comments there, but I know when I do that with students, it's highly effective. And again, if you want to practice this type of stuff with practice sessions and bonus lessons on Patreon, please join me there. I think it's really good. That's what I hear. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I'm currently in the RV in Idaho right now, by the way. And we'll talk soon, and until next time, take care. Bye-bye.